Welcome to Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. This Day Weather Podcast brought to you by Converse County Tourism. Douglas and Glen Rock, Wyoming are bustling with action this holiday season. Plan your excursion, including fun activities, beautiful downtowns, and historic treasures. Learn more at conversecountytourism.com. Well, it is the beginning of the end of the pattern that has gone on for weeks of warm and dry conditions. Finally, things are changing, and this will lead to other changes later this month. And as we'll show you here in a moment, late October into early November could be getting quite a bit colder. So let's go back and focus in here on the short term. So for most of you, it's going to be another nice warm day. So this is the last day. It'll be a little bit breezy at times, but overall it'll be another warm day. We might see a few showers developing in the far western areas. Certainly the Pacific Northwest, interior west will begin to see some weather today. Now the biggest impacts of this storm system will be Utah, southwestern Wyoming, Wyoming's mountain ranges of the north and west, but we will see some of the first snowflakes of the season out on into the plains. But this is definitely a system, as you'll see here, that is going to focus in on areas more on the western side of the divide than eastern side of the divide. There's more coming. Don't worry if you're east of the mountains. You'll have your turn coming up here a little bit later. But this is a situation where the storm is actually going to get the areas the most that need it the most. Certainly, there's going to be travel concerns. I know it's been real warm, and I know pavements are really warm, but these October storms can make roads icy, slushy real quick, especially the mountain passes. And anybody in the high country, hunters, got to pay real close attention and hope you're prepared if you're up in the mountains now, or if you're going to be heading up to chase the elk. Now, the upper low that is going to split off from the main low, we still have to watch it. We still need to keep an eye on it for the Sunday, Monday time frame for areas east of the divide. More shots of Comet A3 coming on in. This was taken on the 14th, on Monday. Yesterday, we had more smoke, more high clouds, so some of you may not have been able to see it as well. Also, that moon last night, some of you probably saw that moon. It was bright. So that made it a little bit harder to see with the naked eye. But your smartphone and cameras certainly picking up, even in the light pollution of Denver, able to sneak on through there. You get out to Lake McConaughey and kind of see that haze there off into the distance with those areas of smoke. And then this was also taken on Monday. So we're still going to have those opportunities coming. It's climbing higher in the sky in the evenings, but gradually we'll be getting a little less bright. But still some opportunities if you can find some breaks in clouds, although the cloud cover really be increasing as we get into Thursday, Friday, and into the weekend. That's why, because we finally have something to show you. Here's the area of low pressure and cold, moist air in the Pacific Northwest and the Gulf of Alaska that's beginning to march slowly inland. So Northern California, Washington, Oregon, up into British Columbia, Idaho later today. Clouds and showers and falling temperatures will be moving in. But we still have this big, huge area of high pressure overhead for a little bit longer. Now, this will change in the days ahead, but we already have winter storm watches for the Wind Rivers. Winter storm watches and winter weather advisories are in effect for the Bighorns and areas near the Bighorn Mountains. These are winter storm warnings up here. Expect these to grow to include other areas of western Wyoming. Probably going to end up seeing some advisories and warnings for winter weather in here later on. We have red flag advisories for very high fire danger out on the eastern plains. So this is classic change in the weather this time of year. You have very warm, dry conditions, high fire danger, and then winter on the other side of the state. Here it is by today at noon. You can see that trough pushing on in, the high pressure finally moving on the east. Finally been able to move this H now. It's headed off to the east. And then as we get into Friday noon, this is Friday noon. This is a split we're talking about. But through the course of today, tonight, tomorrow, through noon Friday, there's going to be a concentration of cold, moist air right here, especially along this axis. There's going to be an axis of heavy moisture. We'll show you that in a minute, as moisture will get pumped over the cold air, over this low, and into this region here. Then as we go forward, the storm splits a little bit more Friday night into Saturday. So here are your temperature anomalies by 6 p.m. on Friday. Certainly a little bit of a shock to the system with much colder temperatures coming on in. Now this is the precipitation forecast through 6 p.m. Friday. We talked about an axis of heavier moisture. It's going to be right here, where there's going to be kind of a concentration of the heavier moisture of the rain and snow, and it could shift a little north, it could shift a little south, it could shift a little west, a little east. We'll update this tomorrow, but the models are in good agreement. This area right here is going to see the heaviest precipitation in the form of rain and snow. So look at the Wasatch, look at the Uinta Mountains, and notice Interstate 80 right here in south central and southwestern Wyoming, that I-80 corridor. That's going to be a problem. The mountain passes going to be impacted as well. And this is what the snowfall looks like through 6 p.m. on Friday. So Thursday and Friday is going to be most of the weather with this system along and west of the divide. Well, even out here on the Black Hills and even the northeast plains of Wyoming, I think you're going to see some snow. Casper, you're going to see your first snow. Lander, Riverton, the Cheyenne and Laramie, probably you'll see the first snowflakes as well. Just won't be as heavy. Heavy snow in the Uintas here and along the Wasatch. Beartooths as well up into the Yellowstone Plateau. By Saturday noon, the complete pinch off of the low has taken place. So this low is going to meander. Now, it's going to lose some of its mojo. It's going to lose some of its moisture and its upper level energy. However, as we mentioned yesterday, these things are sneaky and you got to pay attention to them, because one minute you think it's just going to be a weak little system, but you always have a little bit of re-intensification due to atmospheric dynamics when you cross the continental divide with these upper lows. By Monday morning, that upper low is over northeastern Colorado into southeastern Wyoming. So there still could be some weather produced with this as it exits the region. The next trough in front is queued up to come in probably as a bit of a cold front towards the middle of next week. We don't think it'll produce much moisture, but it will send some cooler air back south into the region. This is the second wave, and this is what we are talking about. This is the period of Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Look at this heavy precipitation in southeastern Colorado and northeastern and northern New Mexico into the southwest mountains of Colorado with that upper low, even northeastern Arizona. This is why we have to watch it. We may also end up seeing more moisture here depending on what the upper level low does. And also the southern mountains of Wyoming into the weekend could be impacted Friday night, Saturday into Sunday and Monday with this system. So we continue to have question marks on what happens as it jumps to the divide. Hopefully that becomes more clear tomorrow. You can see that there's a break in the weather Saturday through Monday in those areas west of the divide as it moves through. This is the snowfall with round 2. Again, Saturday, Sunday into Monday. So it's kind of a two-phased system affecting, there's some overlap right here, and then this is going to be new with it as it comes on through the Four Corners area and lifts northeast. So finally, there's a lot of moving parts with the weather. Now, long term, this is by next weekend. We'll see, but there could be another strong frontal system and trough coming in by the weekend after this one. And this would likely bring in much colder temperatures, areas of rain and snow again. So the weather pattern's certainly getting more busy. Wanted to show you this. This is a forecast that comes out once a day that goes out to 45 days. We continue to see that right at the end of October and early November, a significant chance of a big cold push into the west. We'll watch this, and this may be somewhat exaggerated, but we continue to see the signal that the pattern will be such that the door to much colder air out of Canada is going to be arriving late October into early November. So that's some pretty cold air overspreading the period for a week. This is for a week. So you can see why we're concerned that late October, early November is going to be a much colder regime, and this is the potential snowfall forecast for that week as well. Something to keep an eye on. Have yourself a great Wednesday. We'll see you tomorrow.